Hey, what's up YouTube? Houston here. For those of you just finding my YouTube channel, welcome. Please remember to hit that subscribe button and that bell. And for those of you that's been following me and supporting me, salute. And for my favorite patrons, always, double salute. Now, I know some people say, hey Houston, why do you always salute people? Well, here's the thing about it. My father was in my brother, he did, I think it was Desert Storm, you know, and the thing about it, I have so much respect for the military and so much of the things they do for us and, their sacrifice as well. And so I just like to pay homage and respect them. So that's the reason I do it. And then because there's a lot of people that have never served in the military but are soldiers in our community as well. People that love our community, people that actually want to see our communities thrive, to help our communities grow. So that's the reason that I do the salute. So for those of you that may become offensive to it, my intention is not to disrespect anybody, but I want to show the people that are a part of our communities, hey, I respect you guys, I see you guys, I understand you guys, and I'm here for you guys. So I really love doing that just to show a form of respect and patronage. All right. That being said, today's video, we're talking about Lendingpoint personal loans. Okay. And this is interesting because of Lendingpoint. Credit scores are in the low 580 in order to qualify. Okay. So loans going from $2,000 to $36,500. They do stated income. They pull Experian FICO 9. Here's where I'm talking about that low-hanging fruit again. This is what I mean about our community, learning how to get money from the low-hanging fruit. That way, when you build up from the low-hanging fruit, it transitions over to the major financial institutions because you start to have a thicker credit file as well as a better credit score. So especially like if you have like a high debt to income ratio and stuff like that and you're trying to get funding, it's very hard to go to your regular financial institutions to get some type of funding. All right. So that's the reason that even unfortunate thing about these type of companies, they may charge you a higher interest rate. But at the same time, if you have challenging credit and you're still needing funding, definitely these are the type of lenders you want to look into. Okay. That being said, understanding that with Lendingpoint, they only report to Experian and TransUnion, not Equifax. Hey, 2 out of 3 still ain't bad, right? Especially if you have a low credit score and you need to get funding. Now, one of the things I definitely tell you guys is when you're trying to get funding, I would unfreeze my LexisNexis, some of these other like Clarity, which is owned by Experian, DataX, which is owned by Equifax, Factor Trust, which is owned by TransUnion, and your check systems, okay? A lot of times, I would say this, a lot of times these FICO 9 type of companies, they may not use check systems. They may use early warning systems. Okay, so that's also something that I need to make a video on because people just don't know. So I think if you know, you'll have a better outcome, and okay, I shouldn't go to this one because I'm in check system, or I shouldn't go to this one because I'm in early warning systems, right? Now, in reference to Lendingpoint, the origination fees are from the origination fees, go up to 6%. The interest rates start at 9.99. All right. Now, that's not the only person in the game, though, in terms of when you're dealing with a low credit score. All right. Now, some of the things that I always try to encourage you guys is to take advantage of your FICO 9 score and build it up. Because with your FICO 9 score, like I said, you can use Grow Credit, you can use Perch, pledge loans, authorized users, and extra debit credit card app. There's another one that you can use as well. Excuse me, guys. I apologize. Um, God, what is the name of that company? I'll think of it later, hopefully, before the video is over. But with the extra debit card app, it reports to Experian and Equifax, right? So that's another thing. Let me say something about authorized users. Okay, like with especially like on FICO 8, FICO 8 doesn't recognize or authorized users, which is FICO 8 major banks and stuff like that. All right, but here's the interesting thing about some of your when you're using some of your authorized users, some of your authorized users may not carry over that history. So you'll get like the amount, but it may not carry the history. So that's another thing you have to be careful of when dealing with authorized users. And so whoever you're talking to, like we offer authorized users, but we definitely make sure that you're either getting a high limit or you're getting the aging. And there's other ways that you can actually help age a credit file as well. Because most lenders, they want to see at least 2 years of history. Don't know why, but hey, it is what it is. So that's the reason. That's another reason I tell you guys to focus on the fintech companies and companies that use FICO 9, because even if you don't have any credit, you're able to take advantage and still get funding. Now, another biggie, and this here, just this alone, this can give you at least 25, I would say conservative, between 25 to 35 points. Some people have seen their credit scores jump up about 42 points. Just by adding on the rent. And a lot of people, they're missing out because they're sharing rent with people and they're just giving them cash or they're giving them money order. And I keep telling you guys, stop doing that because you're not getting anything out of, well, you're getting a roof over your head, but at the same time, if you do it the way that I'm telling you to do it, you will actually get that as a trade line. So like, I know people like don't have like car loans and stuff like that on their credit file and stuff like that. Well, here's a way to at least get your rent reporting on your credit file. So some of these here lenders, some of these institutions here to help you report your rent. Now, that being said, if your credit score is just really a factor and you're trying to find funding, but things are just crazy, you may want to look at Money Mutual. Minimum income is $800 a month. You can borrow up to $5,000. You have to have a checking account. Even if you're in check systems, they may be able to help you, okay? Then you have Upstart. And the reason that I like Upstart, like I tell you guys, is because it's not as much as the credit score that they look at. And they pull TransUnion FICO 9. But the thing about it, they're looking at, well, you have a good job. You've been at your residence a long time. Those are the things that matter to them. What's your education level? So they use other data points. And because their loans go from 1,000 up to 50,000 now, and they're all over the U.S. as well. Now, here's the thing about it that I would tell you guys in reference to Upstart. One of the things about it, I know for sure, Upstart, if you're just coming out of a bankruptcy, even if you're in a Chapter 11, I have seen people get funding from Upstart in a Chapter 11 bankruptcy. So they're one of those companies that's really wanting to work with you. And before you're actually approved, they actually show you the amount you're actually approved for. Okay. Now the minimum annual gross income is $12,000 that you have to have. Okay, and you have to have at least, I think theirs is at least 2 trade lines. Sometimes you can start with it with no credit, but having that job history and income is definitely one of those ones. All right, I apologize for that, guys. Avant Personal. Now, 580 credit score. DTI up front, 70%. That's what I'm talking about, people. Being able to go to lenders that know that, hey, I have a high debt to income ratio. Can you still help me? Okay? And borrowing from $2,000 up to $35,000, having an active checking account, phone number, email, average credit score is a 644. That does not mean you have to have a 644 credit score. That's just an average. $20,000 in annual income or $1,200 a month, just to be on the safe side. Average monthly income is about $4,000. And I always tell you guys, in terms of looking at adding household income, if you're married and have a spouse, or you're disabled or retired, you have other income from retirement, renting out a room and stuff, you have to include that so that you will be able to push down your DTI so you can get access to more funding, all right? Then you have, PenFed. Again, PenFed is one of those companies that you can join them. They pull FICO 9 Equifax. Average credit score is about a 650, but people with a lesser credit score have been approved for loans, okay? So that's the thing about it. The good thing about it is PenFed, they're very fair when it comes to trying to help people get funding, especially when it comes to loans and stuff like that. Now, in order to get funding from them, yes, you do have to become a member, okay? But $5 in a Simply Funding savings account is all you have to do, all right? Now, here's what I mean about debt to income ratio, because there have been people saying, well, I got a 700 credit score and I got this, I got that, but they have a high debt to income ratio. And because they have a high debt to income ratio, PenFed wasn't able to help them. So that's the thing about it. You have to keep in mind, like with the major banks, credit unions, they may tolerate, like I said, max 50-55% debt to income ratio. But the fintech companies, they're looking at, hey, if you got a 70-75% debt to income ratio, we're still able to help you. All right. So that's the cool part about it. Plus, you can pre-qualify with PenFed as well. All right. Now, if you're trying to understand how to get more business credit funding, personal credit funding, click the link in the description. If you're trying to understand your real FICO score and learn how to manage it or how to leverage it, click the link, get your real FICO score in the description, then schedule a 30-minute consultation and we can talk about some of the other financial institutions that may be able to help you get qualified for funding, or I can show you what may be slowing you down from getting the funding that you need. So this is Houston with Three-Way Funding. Thank you for supporting me.